Well, it was nice and easy for Sri Lanka. They have beaten England so comprehensively. They've got this chase done in such good time that they could go back and do this chase all over again in the time that was left. That's right. They could do it twice over. Just a shade over 25 overs is what Sri Lanka took to get to England's target of 157. Remember, England had batted first, won the toss, but they were just shambolic. Their batting effort was what they would want to forget themselves. And 156 is all they managed to get on the board, all out in the 34th over. And Sri Lanka came down and they have chased it quite clinically. The two heroes, Nissanka and Samarawickrama. No surprise there. Nissanka with yet another 50. He just seems to be collecting them this World Cup. And Samarawickrama, who has been their highest scorer and just consolidated his position at the top of the chart. So easily done. Win by 8 wickets with almost half the overs still to go, which means that their net run rate will also get a booster vitamin shot. I'm Gaurav Kapur. This is Cricbuzz Live. With me, two people with booster shots, Joy Bhattacharya and Zaheer Khan. And I'll tell you why they are smiling, because with one-day cricket and this World Cup coming hard and fast, a quick game is a good game. Right? Well, it's a very good game for Sri Lanka today, isn't it, Joy? Not so much for England, a completely forgettable day. But for Sri Lanka, a really good day at the office. Tick, 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 pretty much in all departments.
No, absolutely. You've started your tournament with 3 losses.
Yeah.
Okay. Then against the Netherlands, you're in a lot of trouble. Okay. They're 260, 270. You've lost with 3 wickets for 110. Things are looking dicey. You managed to make your way through. Then against England, who are supposed to be the champion team, are the champion team at this point in time, a victory like this, suddenly you're back in the tournament. Yeah. And in their first 3 matches, they felt there's not very much they could have done. Yeah. First match, South Africa hits them with 426 runs.
Yeah.
Okay. Then after that, against Pakistan, they scored 344 runs and it's not enough. And then against Australia, they just collapsed. They were 125 for no loss and collapsed to 209. So every time they've done some things well. They haven't, like England, you've seen, had an eminently forgettable tournament. These people have competed in every match.
Yep.
And I think today they've really shown that hanging in there, how much of a difference it makes. Because the one chance they got against England, they grabbed it with both hands.
That's right. We were talking about this in the combox, Zach, that when they were chasing this, it's a low score to chase. But at 23 for 2, and I had specifically called out for the 2 Kushals to do something, and they did. But for England, right? They both got done early. And Joy, we should share the joke with Joy as well. Right? Yeah. So Joy, I'm going to share the joke with you. With both the Kushals out for 23, we thought that maybe for Sri Lanka, things are not all Kushal Mangal.
I thought you'd go there. I knew it.
Mic drop.
Superb.
That's done. But how good were these two with their partnership, Nissanka and Samarawickrama?
Yeah, great. I think for them, it was in this tournament, they've already gone past that 300-run mark. Yeah. This is very important as a batting unit. Today, 2 wickets down, getting a partnership going like this and finishing the game is something which is always important.
Yeah.
So both these guys have managed to do that. Pathum Nissanka especially showing that kind of form, which is important as an opener. He's been scoring those 50s consistently. So that is something which he will take a lot of pride in. And for Sri Lanka also, it is going to be good going forward in the tournament, because one thing for sure, if you're putting runs on board, then you're always in the game. Yeah. That's how things have been panning out. For Sri Lanka, if you look at it, them getting England, a side like England out, which is supposed to be batting heavy, for just 156 is something which is going to go a long way, because leading into the tournament, we knew Hasaranga is not there, Chamira is not there, their key bowlers, Patharana has gone back. Yeah. So their bowling was weak. And that's why they couldn't defend against a team like Pakistan. Also, in spite of scoring runs, they've lost that game.
Yeah.
So for anyone who is analysing Sri Lankan side, bowling has been that weakness which everyone have been talking about. And I think today they've done exactly opposite of that.
Yep.
They've gone and got this England team out for 156. The batters have done their job of securing a comprehensive victory over England with the bat. So now suddenly 5 matches down, 4 points on the points table. You are looking at Sri Lanka differently, and England maybe has got very little chance in this campaign, but suddenly you're looking at, say, Australia, Sri Lanka, Pakistan also have got a little bit of chance now, Afghanistan. So that number 4 points teams are suddenly thinking, okay, hang on, this tournament is going to get interesting now in the second half.
It will.
And that's what everyone is looking forward to now.
You know, we were talking about this in the update that we did, which is that if Sri Lanka wins and if they win big, they could actually leapfrog and make their net run rate better. They've improved their net run rate by almost 1, right?
Yeah.
With this win.
It's a substantial.
Right? It's a substantial jump. They were at, I think, minus 1.2, and they've gone to minus 2 now, so which means they've jumped over Pakistan and are in 5th position. Right? I think they were minus 1.4 or something.
Yeah.
So they've really jumped up now because this is a big win. You won with 8 wickets in hand, almost half the overs to go. Comprehensive defeat of the defending champions. I know Joss Butler doesn't like us saying it, but it's the truth. They are. You won it. But a comprehensive defeat. But let's talk about England today as well. For people who've just tuned in right now, we have to tell them Sri Lanka, of course, got them all out. But England's batting performance today is one that they should not forget. They should go back, look at it again, and remind themselves of how to be the exact opposite in terms of just confused, muddled, just stuck nowhere.
No, I was just thinking, you said something that's something champions do. I mean, Kobe Bryant, who's one of the greatest basketball players ever, passed away tragically in a helicopter accident. He used to do that. He used to go back, and the one thing you really analyze properly is where you went wrong. It's horrible to watch that tape. But unless you watch it and it's sort of gone into you that these are the mistakes you made, because some of the mistakes they made, they look at themselves and wonder, they're a much better side than what they did. I mean, the kind of 2 runouts, both runouts were brainless. You know, Root putting it out there. The second runout was even worse. I mean, you look at Adil Rashid's runout, that lack of awareness, that much time to put your bat back in the crease. And some of the wickets up front, as I said, other than David Malan, which was a very good delivery, the rest of them, some of the better deliveries didn't get wickets. In fact, some of Lahiru Kumara's better deliveries didn't get the kind of wickets that they gave away. And I think you look at it and they'll ask themselves, this is not, I mean, if it was a fantastic bowling effort, I can understand. It's not. Sri Lanka were good. They were a disciplined bowling effort. Disciplined. But you won't say that it's so penetrative that they knocked England off, you know.
Yeah, they were good in the field. We have to give that credit to Sri Lanka. They were electric in the field. They were buoyed, right? You could tell that, you know, with the run out, yes, there may have been one dropped catch, but otherwise, just the way they were running around, the way they were in the field, you could tell they were just all over England today. And England, of course, really soft dismissal. Sorry, you wanted to...
No. I just want to add one more thing. I mean, you look at it, they were 45 for no loss. England was 45 for no loss. Sri Lanka were 23 for 2. So it's not even about the starts. They were 23 for 2 chasing. And look where they ended up, and they were 45 for no loss, and this is what happened.
Just application, and that's what we have to give. I mean, I don't know how much we have to say in praise of Nissanka and Samarawickrama, but whatever we do, it's going to be less because for a team like Sri Lanka, who's had a collapse, right? They've had this kind of a cycle stand collapse. You've seen England do that earlier in the day. You've only got 1 win. You're not that confident. Your captain is gone. There's a lot of things that are happening which could have played on the minds of these 2 guys. They've managed to block that out and just put their heads down and say, we are going to shepherd our team home. So I feel like more than the strokes they played, we've got to applaud their temperament today and the discipline.
Absolutely, and also the conditions. You know, so when both the teams have played on the pitch, you get a sense of what was happening there right throughout the game. And it's another reflection of the fact that England were not able to apply themselves. They were not able to figure out what kind of options they should be taking on this pitch. And with Sri Lanka's batting lineup, you just see exactly them doing that, knowing that, okay, 156 is something that they're chasing, but they were 23 for 2. So after that, the pressure is on. What England needed at that stage, which was missing, was to see that intensity, that belief, maybe some attacking aggressive field placement, which we saw later, where you saw that silly point, you saw that extra bounce which was there. Wood bowling just 4 overs right now is another reflection of how England was not proactive, or how England was not thinking about still looking to make a game out of it. They were still waiting for Sri Lanka to commit errors. And Sri Lankans were, like you rightly said, were more into the game by then. The force, the momentum was with them at that stage. They applied themselves, and that one partnership again just frizzled things out. What I really liked from Sri Lanka's both these batters, when Rashid came into bowl, Adil Rashid, they didn't let him settle.
Yeah.
And I think that was the key battle, because had Rashid just settled in his spell and created that little bit of impact on the game at that stage, things would have been different. Sri Lanka would have felt that pressure.
Yeah.
But the positive mindset of Sri Lankan batters, in spite of losing those couple of wickets, making sure that Rashid is not a threat on this pitch, batted against him in a positive, aggressive manner, and taking 8.36 is the economy of Rashid, bowling 5 overs, was the real right approach, them chasing this total down.
Yeah, it's very important because England and Sri Lanka both would have been aware of the fact that Adam Zampa had last bowled on this pitch and picked up 4 wickets. So you know that a quality leg spinner can really rattle your side and just run through your middle order if you let him settle. But I think Nissanka set the tone in Adil Rashid's first over when he just came dancing down. He was halfway down the pitch when he hit him for second tier 6. Right? It just shows you confidence. More than 6 runs, it can really break the back of the bowler and the opposition, because it gives that attacking mindset and makes the bowler defensive.
I totally agree. And what I liked is that they attacked him.
Yeah.
He was their biggest threat. After a while, they attacked him.
Yeah.
They didn't attack the rest. And you look at what Nissanka has done. This performance, it's a study in, firstly, he's always been very good. 4th consecutive 50, he's always been done well for them. Just one miss in this tournament. Otherwise, he's been flawless. By the way, how did they qualify? They beat teams like the West Indies and Zimbabwe. Who scored centuries against them? Nissanka. So Nissanka has not just been carrying them in this World Cup, he has carried them through the qualifiers as well.
Yeah.
And in the previous match, the last match that they won, he was the one, his first partnership was with Samarawickrama, after which Samarawickrama had other partners. But he also had a 50-run partnership with Samarawickrama.
Yeah.
So he's been doing everything for them.
Yeah. I mean, for Sri Lanka, the only thing they would want more out of the next game is for K2 to do well. K2 need to climb that mountain, which is both the Kushals, Pereira and Mendes are not getting runs for them. Now think about it. Nissanka's getting runs, Samarawickrama's getting runs. If the 2 Kushals start getting runs as well, then as they say in Punjabi, Zach, Vare Nyare? Yeah? I think they say that in UK more than they say in Punjab.
You coming up with another player in that lineup. I was thinking, Vare Nyare, no one is there.
Actually, that does sound like somebody who could play for Sri Lanka, right?
Vare Nyare,
yeah. His probably first name would be Dimota Charit, Vare Nyare. But if they can get these 2 checked in as well, then for them, of course, with their batting, because their batting's got to make up a lot for their key bowlers missing.
Kushal Mendes did score 100, and that is something which he wants to go back to. He needs to figure out that form again, find that form again. If that happens, and Sri Lanka scoring consistently, it's definitely going to give them that chance of aiming for that 10, 12 points on that points table.
Yeah.
That is something which Sri Lanka will be looking at. And look, it's already been a great World Cup. You've seen the upsets. You've seen Netherlands beating South Africa. You've seen Afghanistan beating England. Now Sri Lanka, you're not expecting this kind of a result from today's game. And you've seen that. So Sri Lanka is in the hunt. And all these other teams are also in the hunt. Is going to make this second half of this World Cup very interesting. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So Sri Lanka, you can expect things to happen, because these kind of wins give you that confidence, give you that self-belief, and that is going to work for them. Hope it works for them.
Yeah.
Because Matthews coming back now, that little bit of experience is also there.
Yeah.
You're looking at Lahiru Kumara bowled so well. So if they're able to put things together with bowling, which was their weakness so far in the tournament, if they're able to turn things around with that, then it'll be an interesting campaign for them.
We must talk about Angelo Matthews, because we spoke about him before the game began, and were wondering from where they had taken him out of those mothballs that he was preserved in, and they got him back to play, and not played ODI cricket in 3 years, I think, or some such.
But interesting. I was just reading about him and what was happening, and obviously they felt that taking him, a lot of people in Sri Lanka also thought was a retrograde step. What was interesting was, I think about 7, 10, 15 days before this, just after the injury, Angelo Matthews said that if I have to come to play a tournament and I have to bowl, I'm prepared to bowl. I'm prepared to do anything that's required. Nice. And I think at some point they must have also realized that it's for him, that 5 overs, 2 wickets. And those were vital wickets. Remember, there's a run out there as well after that. So that's literally 3 wickets that he's taken. They probably realized that he's desperate to want to do something for them. And I think only then did he come onto the plane. So what I loved about him was not just how he bowled, it's how he was walking with Zaheer Khan. He's a very experienced cricketer, talking to him about where to bowl. Because Zaheer Khan bowled a beautiful ball, didn't get a wicket, and his sort of shoulder droop. He took his arm around and took him back. And I think that is the kind of Angelo Matthews that they want.
Nice.
So the Angelo Matthews that they wanted has turned up.
Yeah.
And it's important for them because remember, this is actually the weakest Sri Lankan spin side that you'll find. Because the only spinner here now is Thikshana. Because with Hasaranga injured, normally they had a very good spin department. Now they'll need those medium pacers to do their fifth bowlers. So there's just Dhananjay who's never bowled 10 overs for them. And there's just Thikshana who's the spinner.
Yeah, that's interesting with them. I mean, England, of course, for England, it's very troublesome now because they have looked at 5 games done. They've got the 1 win. Everybody's asking, where do England go from here? The obvious answer would be home, because that's where they'd like to go at this point in time and hide under a blanket, because that's how they've played. But they can't, because they've got 4 games to play. And those 4 games are not easy games. Oh, no. They've got India coming up next. And India is looking anyway in ominous form, right? And then India looks at this game and goes, well, thank you, Sri Lanka, because you've battered that confidence even more, right? And exposed them even more. Then they go up against their age-old rivals, Australia, and that's not going to be easy because Australia on the ascent now. And then they play Netherlands and Pakistan. And the last game against Pakistan, I can tell you something, that's going to be a super interesting game because a lot of people want to write off Pakistan. Well, actually, Pakistan wants to write off Pakistan. But trust me, don't write them off because they are going to be there. They're going to be there till the end. And this last game is going to be crucial for Pakistan at that point in time. I'm telling you this. So they are coming up against tough opposition. So they are looking at this and going, geez, this could buy...
2-7. They could be 2-7 at the end.
It could buy a country mile. This could be their worst World Cup.
Yeah. This could be a terrible World Cup for them.
Yeah, and for defense, this would probably be the biggest delta in the history of the game where a defending champion finishes that badly the next...
So these 4 games will be a very long journey for them. Because no one wants to be in this kind of a scenario. You see how the dressing room was. You see how... When you go in the tournament as one of the favourites and you land up in this kind of a situation where you know your chances are very bleak now of finishing in the top 4, you're actually fighting for those...
Sir, they won't finish in the next 4 also.
Yeah, exactly. Because
might finish 9 or 10.
Of the fixtures which you're showing. It's not going to be easy for them. So yeah, it's going to be a very long tournament from here just to cope up with, turning up, going for those practices. For support staff also, it becomes very challenging. That the motivation is down. They've tried everything. They've just not turned up with anything, like with the bat, with the ball, and playing matches in this kind of approach and this kind of below par performances. It's just gonna hurt your presence. Just going to the ground, getting ready for the matches. It's just going to be a tough 4 matches for them now from here.
I was just thinking the last time it's happened once when I was a part of a unit. It was in KKR in 2009. And the head coach was Matthew Mott at that point in time for KKR. So Matthew Mott, John Buchanan was the chief of this thing, but the head coach of the team was Matthew Mott.
Yeah. Can they, they are there in Bangalore right now. Can they just walk across to the other dressing room, kidnap Silverwood? Just take him along with him? They'd want to do that, won't they? They want to. They've got Morgan on commentary, right? They can pick him up.
They can just quickly make a couple of calls to ICC and say, we just need a bat.
Or just give them
we need a captain. Non-playing captain also. You have it in tennis, non-playing captain. You just have him there in the dressing room.
That's right. You can do that. Just to wrap up the talk on Angelo Matthews, because you could probably make a reel from what we said before and what we're saying after, right? Just join it. Yeah, social media team? Yeah, they're doing it already. Okay. The thing with Angelo Matthews, what we saw today, it reminds me of what Jatin Paranjpe, the former India cricketer, once told me about when he was a selector and picking young cricketers. He said when I would go to see a young cricketer, I would never look at him batting or bowling or whatever his discipline was. He says, we know that's good, right? What we would see is, how's he getting off the bus? What is his prep like? Is he supporting another player? Is he happy if he gets out for 1 but his partner scores 100, right? They would see stuff like this. I think with Angelo Matthews, leave aside the bowling today or everything else. I think that one action that the two of you pointed out, which is just put his arm around Zaheer Kumar, walk him back, get him sorted mentally. That's what experience does, Zach. When you just have that elder statesman almost tell you, don't worry, buddy, it's all right.
And he has been doing that because he has led Sri Lankan side. So you expect that kind of approach from a player like him.
Yeah.
If he's come back in the side right now, like we were earlier also mentioning, if it's a little long term, they wanted to see, okay, if he's going to hang around in the team for a long time, then he's there with this kind of a role. You need experience. Now, you know, as Sri Lankan cricket, we are talking about how they got into Asia Cup, how they performed well. After that, they had series of injuries which were not helping their cause, but they're still finding a way of making impact on the tournament, winning games, beating top teams. So you need an experienced player to guide these youngsters. I think that is the thought process, and I hope that, like how we were talking in the earlier show, that I hope it's a little long-term plan with a specific role of guiding youngsters, mentoring them as well to a certain degree. Maybe not playing all the games depending on his fitness and stuff, but he was up for it today. Now, how long he's going to sustain, because that's also one challenge which he will have. That is something which we have to wait and see. But definitely the role is to not just look at his game, but also create that environment in the team where his knowledge, his experience is going to be shared with the youngsters who need guidance through conversations.
Yeah, can that happen? Can Sri Lanka kind of take this really comprehensive defeat of the defending champions and use that as momentum going forward? All right, Jos Buttler after the game has said that we have just generally been very uninspired. And Joy, this is quite interesting because he has said that, including me, I have been unable to lead from the front.
I mean, look, they've been honest. It's an honest admission. And I think one of the interesting things about the English press conferences is that even Joe Root was pretty honest yesterday.
Yeah.
So they haven't turned up. Look, the one word that screams out of you for you is lack of preparation. There's clearly lack of preparation. Lack of preparation from the ECB in terms of having that number of ODI matches. Lack of preparation before the World Cup. Lack of preparation in knowing what your top side is. Certain amount of lack of preparation that when you lose, you suddenly change and your Willie batting at number 7 where he normally bats at number 10 for you. So all sorts of things have happened with them through this tournament. And I think they'll just look at it and say that, look, I mean, they turned up for a 50-over World Cup that they were not ready for.
Fair enough, yeah. And he's saying that this is not the cricket that's expected from us and we've not been able to fulfill expectations. So, yeah, it's one of those really, really bad days for England, but one that they will have to look at. They'll have to have a long, hard look at what they've done today in their batting as well as their bowling. And we're talking about their bowling. Yes, it was not much to defend, but the only way they could have done it is that they should have attacked. And as Zach says, that they just did not attack enough.
Like, I would have liked to see Mark Wood bowling maybe 8 overs. You know, in 25 overs, the number of overs bowled by seamers is low. I think, you know, if you're looking to get wickets, you don't need your part-timers to bowl in this sort of a run chase.
11,
when you're defending a total like this, you give yourself a chance by bowling your main bowlers who will be looking to give you wickets. And that's why it was important that, okay, Willie got wickets in his first spell. Vokes was controlling things. Bring in Mark Wood as early as possible, maybe give him that short burst of 2 or 3 overs, ask him to be as fast as possible, get slip point or short leg in, you know, just use that intimidation as a tactic to scare batters out. Maybe if you had got 1 wicket there, that would have opened up things for you. Otherwise, that partnership took the game away from you completely. And end of it, Mark Wood had just bowled 4 overs.
Correct.
So that doesn't reflect well on thinking of the game when you're looking at defending this total, because the only way you could have won this game was by getting Sri Lanka team all out. Now, whether you would have taken those wickets or not, that's secondary. But were you actually thinking of taking those 10 wickets is the question. And today, whatever we've seen, I don't think they were thinking of taking 10 wickets. And if you're not thinking of doing that, then how are you going to win this game?
Sir, I don't think they were thinking only today.
You know, do you remember?
That has been their campaign so far.
I'll just take you back to Indian fans to this game in 1992.
Yeah.
Just before the World Cup, India is playing the West Indies, and India is all out for 126. Okay, and India has 4 fast bowlers. I think Srinath was there.
I'll tell you, sir. Srinath, Manoj Prabhakar, Subroto Banerjee, and Kapil Dev.
Kapil Dev.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens? You've got a 5th spinner, but the ball, obviously the track is doing a lot. 40 overs.
All 4 bowlers.
All 4 bowlers.
Done.
41st over, Sachin Tendulkar comes, bowls, gets an edge, out. But the point of it is, that was the 9th wicket and it was a tie. But the point of it is, what India did was they threw their 4 bowlers. How, you're absolutely right. How is 6 overs being bowled by the likes of Liam Livingstone and Moeen Ali?
Yeah.
You don't even have left-handers in there. Okay, Liam Livingstone, Moeen Ali are bowling 6 overs. Mark Wood is coming late. And even when Mark Wood is coming later, they put it. Did they have a second slip? How does it make a difference? How many runs are you going to defend anyway?
Yep.
So you have to say 40 overs. I don't need part-timers.
I think I remember this game where they bowled. Azhar was the captain.
Do you remember the catch?
They bowled 40.
Sachin first ball and it just seemed away, nicked off.
And it was obvious that he was bowling all 4 out, and everybody who was watching the game also in over 33, 34 was thinking, who's going to bowl the 41st?
Not only that. And after that, who's going to bowl the 42nd? Because only Sachin was the only other bowler.
And then Azhar perhaps. Ajay Jadeja, one of them would have bowled. Okay, well, what does this mean though? What does Sri Lanka's win mean for Pakistan? Well, it augurs well for Pakistan, because now what happens is that even they're on 4 points, net run rate, that means they're very close. So Pakistan is looking at that and saying, all right, listen, can we string a couple of victories? And if we can, then we can threaten for that 4th position perhaps. And well, I think everybody here in this country wants Pakistan to threaten for that 4th position, because if Pakistan qualifies 4th, you know what that means? You know. Yes, it means an India-Pakistan semi-final, because India is definitely qualifying top of the table.
I think if you look at this table right now, it's clear that if Pakistan qualifies, the odds are they'll qualify at 4.
Yeah.
The odds of them qualifying at 2 or 3 at this point in time don't look very likely. Because India will probably finish there, and the likes of between New Zealand, South Africa and Australia, I think 2 and 3 will be taken.
Correct.
If they come, they'll sneak into 4th place.
Yeah, and of course, it's not going to be easy playing tomorrow, because tomorrow they are playing against South Africa. Pakistan is playing against South Africa tomorrow. South Africa, of course, can then challenge for top of the table, and Pakistan will obviously go into this game saying we have to win this. And there's 2 advantages of a win tomorrow. Of course, they get 2 points, and they beat a team like South Africa, who have just been amazing this tournament, Zach.
I think Chennai as a venue, we'll have to see how South Africa goes on there.
Yeah.
But the table is wide open right now. So all these teams, because of today's victory for Sri Lanka, Australia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, they'll be thanking Sri Lanka right now.
Yeah.
Because everyone have got the chance now of looking at that number 4 spot. There is a possibility that 10 points is what we can look at, 10 or 12 points, but 10 points I think the 4th team will go on. So that's what all these teams which are there from number 4 position are thinking about right now. And if you have to make an impact, you got to beat table toppers or top 3 teams, top 4 teams for sure, teams which are ahead of you. So Pakistan will be thinking like that right now. You know, if they have to revive, you need that spark which we often speak about.
Yeah.
And how does that happen? That happens with what we've seen today, what Sri Lanka did to England.
Yeah.
Now suddenly we are looking at Sri Lanka in a completely different light.
Yeah.
For Pakistan, that is required, because their previous loss against Afghanistan is not going to help their campaign. So from that kind of a defeat, the next game you play, you get a glimpse of where things are heading.
Yeah, I know, because the problem with Pakistan happens with Pakistani fans. Whenever they have a loss like that, they go into the breaking TV, pizza, burger, you know, those kind of meme situations. So much so, no, I'm not kidding, this is factual. I mean, so much so that PCB has had to put out a statement saying, can you please support our team? Like, we know what you're saying is that, oh, Babar Azam's captaincy, oh, he's not in form. But what they said is that they're not going to fire a captain mid-tournament. So let this tournament get done, and then we'll look at things. But it's bizarre that...
Exactly. The sad thing is not that PCB has made a statement like that. It's that they needed to make a statement like this. There is so much chaos that they needed to make a statement like this.
Yeah. So I think that Babar and the team will have to make a statement tomorrow so that the PCB doesn't have to make another statement, right? Can they make that statement tomorrow? against a team that has been in great nick. Yeah, South Africa. What has been the game changer for South Africa? Of course, Quinny de Kock. He's got 3 centuries, so he's been in absolutely brilliant form. Don't know if Bavuma is going to be playing tomorrow or not. We don't have news about that. But I think the game changers for them, Joy, have been that Markram and Klaasen at 4 and 5 have just been, gold and platinum.
No, absolutely. And see, all their batting has worked well, but Markram and Klaasen have managed to give them the acceleration because de Kock has given them start. They've got acceleration in the middle. They've got consistency in the middle, acceleration in the end.
Yeah.
So all 3 have been covered. And the interesting thing is that, okay, Chennai might be a slightly slow pitch. It hasn't been that slow, though, to be honest with you, as we thought it would be.
Yeah.
The 2 of probably the best international players of spin are Markram and Klaasen.
Yeah.
They're both excellent players of spin. And if you look at it that way, Keshav Maharaj is not a bad batter against spin either.
Yeah.
So this is not a team that, originally South African side, you said, put them on a spinning wicket and see what happens to them. Yeah. That's no longer the case with this.
But also the thing is that Pakistan has not done anything with spin this time anyway to cause any concern or any discussion for South Africa.
No, I think they'll hope that Nawaz is available.
Yeah.
So that is something which on that pitch we've seen what a left arm finger spinner can do.
Yeah.
So they'll be looking at that.
By the way, there's more news. There's more news that Hassan Ali is not well. Yeah. He's got a fever, so which means Mohammad Wasim Jr. may play in his place. He's got the flu or something, so he's unwell, which means that Mohammad Wasim Jr. comes in his place.
Which also means that it's not going to help Pakistan's campaign because Hassan Ali was the only bowler who looked very good in that previous game against Afghanistan. Was bowling well, looked like he was coming in form and rhythm. But if he's also missing out, then it's not going to be.
Is there any news in Mohammad Nawaz? Because I think he's vital. Because otherwise it's a straight swap. They will take away the second seam of necessary and put in Mohammad Nawaz.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know. We've got Hassan Ali's news right now. With Hassan Ali's news came, I just started thinking that how they say, sir, in poverty the flower is wet, right? Kangali mein aata gila, right? That's exactly what has happened. The one bowler. Today is that day. I've done the Hindi show for many days, so I'm translating Hindi proverbs into English, rather literally. But that's what's happening with them. He has been their only successful bowler. Harris Roth has gone for runs. Shaheen Afridi has not been the danger Shaheen Afridi we've been expecting, or Pakistan has been expecting. Their spinners have not shown up. And then on the other side, you see their batters are not getting runs. So they don't have anything to hang on to here, Joy. So tomorrow, everybody has to come on, switch on together almost.
The irony of it is that the only 2 batters who are giving them value are Saud Shakil and Abdullah Shafiq.
Yeah.
Neither of whom was a starter at the start of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Neither of these are the replacement players who have come in and actually given them runs.
Yeah.
And Iftikhar is batted decently to a certain extent. But Babar Azam has to get runs tomorrow. He has to do it tomorrow.
Yeah. He's seeming a little off color, isn't he, Zach? Babar, just in general, demeanor, not just his batting, but just in general.
You're talking about a tournament like World Cup, and if you're having a campaign like how they are having, players getting injured just leading up to the tournament, then during the tournament you've had that illness which forced few players not to take part, and him not being in form. So it's just adding up. So previous game you've seen that he scored 74, 75 runs, which would give you enough confidence going into the next one. But you were not able to defend the kind of total which you should have.
Yeah.
Then what happens is suddenly your good innings is also looking like an average innings.
Yeah.
And that's what is happening with him. So even if he has scored runs, there was criticism about how he batted slowly or he didn't take the initiative. All those kind of things. So he must be thinking at this stage that I've got runs, but now you're criticizing me for batting slowly. So that's the kind of situation he is in, which is not an easy one.
Also on that pitch, anyone you would have asked, 280, expecting Afghanistan to chase 280 on a pitch like that with a little bit of help for spinners, everyone would have told you that this Pakistan's got the game wrapped up.
It was great.
That they managed to do it so easily just took everyone. It didn't surprise people, it shocked people. Because
it was great batting though.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was picture perfect. I mean, they didn't go a step wrong. Each and every one of their batsmen contributed. Yeah. So the point is, they also think of the luck they've hit. See, the other point with Babar Azam and Pakistan has been because there's not been too many India-Pakistan encounters other than the T20 World Cup. They've won a lot of bilaterals. They've reached their number 1 position, winning a lot of bilaterals where so much attention has not been focused on the team. So they've done their job, they've done it well. And Babar Azam is a quiet and smart captain that way. Now this captaincy, a World Cup captaincy, is a different captaincy because the pressure on you is on a different level altogether.
Yeah.
And that is the pressure that they're struggling with.
And that win again, that loss rather against Afghanistan would have hit them harder. And it was very important for Afghanistan as well. We met Ajay Jadeja the other day, who said that even with 15, 20 runs to get, the whole dressing room was on tenterhooks and they were nervous. And that's how much the win meant to Afghanistan, because they'd never beaten Pakistan before. So similarly, now look at it in the Pakistan point of view, where you're going, oh, this is a team we have completely dominated and crushed and destroyed. And now this team has beaten us on the world stage with the spotlight on us. You know, it's like all wins are not equal and all losses are not equal. Some hit you harder. And I think that loss has hit them hard.
It's about how you respond. And you know whether it's a make or break kind of a game for them from tomorrow. There is no doubt about that. You've seen it with South Africa. They lost to Netherlands. They've come out of that and come out of that in style, playing against England. So you look at Pakistan also in the same light. Tomorrow, they're playing against strong team. If you put up a good show, it's just going to boost your confidence. It's just going to give you that belief. You're just going to be going all guns blazing. There is no doubt about that. And you've seen Pakistan do this in the past. So now, when there is so much criticism, you've lost to Afghanistan, you know you have to go out there and show the world you're capable of beating any side.
What you're made of. Show them what you're made of. I've got a prediction for tomorrow. Can I tell you who's going to win?
Go for it.
It's going to be the green team. Naughty. But we've got better predictions here. But before that, we have to applaud Zach because he got his power play prediction correct. Said 55, it was 56. So good job.
You also apparently wanted to go with 56, but you picked the number already.
But you know, I mean, I'm here. I'm the kingmaker. You're the kings. I'm the kingmaker. Right? I am the puppeteer. No, it's Zach's win. But I got it correct on, I said 25, so they won 25.
No, it was 25 point something, right?
Yeah.
25.4 or something.
That's what we didn't say
So that's
25th.
26.
I said 25, which means 25 overs done. It's
26th.
correct. His was 26 overs done. Yours was 27 overs
I
done.
said 26th over. So 25.4 is 26th over.
So now you've brought that win.
Just saying it.
Ye dekho. Enjoying like anything. Enjoying like anything. All right, let's get our predictions for tomorrow. Not who's going to win, but one player from each side to watch out for. The top performer. Come on, Zach, we start with Pakistan first. Their top performer.
Pakistan, I think Abdullah Shafiq is batting well. So if he gives them the start, I think those nerves will ease down there in that camp.
Okay, that's yours. Who's yours?
Klassen, because I think he's a...
No, Pakistan first.
Pakistan, I think... I honestly feel Haris Rauf needs to come to the party if Pakistan's going to do anything.
Haris Rauf. Okay, I'm picking the captain. I'm picking Mughal-e-Azam, Babar-e-Azam. I'm picking him. South Africa now, come on. South Africa player to watch out for.
Playing in Chennai, I think Rassie van der Dussen.
I like it. Rassie van der Dussen, cool.
Klassen, because I feel that at this point in time, he's the best player of spin going around in the international circuit.
Okay. I'll also go, because I am partial to my favorite player from Pakistan, Akram, I'm going to go with Akram. All right, that's mine. So those are our picks for tomorrow. Do join us tomorrow. It's at 1:30 Indian Standard Time on Cricbuzz Live. We have one last piece of business before we sign off, which is the joy factor question and answer. Over to you, good professor.
Okay, this Asian cricketer made his debut alongside a future Australian captain whose name was Mark Taylor, played his final international match 22 years later in a game where England's most successful all-format bowler, of course, all format bowlers in England, is James Anderson, was man of the match. Named the cricketer who played for 4 decades of international cricket, the one and only Sanat Jayasuriya. Sanat Jayasuriya, can you imagine?
I'm just clapping because of Sanat Jayasuriya.
89. So he played the 80s, played the 90s, played the 2000s, played the 2010s.
Jeez.
4 decades of world cricket he's played.
Which is Jimmy Anderson as well, right?
Jimmy Anderson, there's Shoaib Malik, there's him, and there's of course Sachin. I'm not sure if Jimmy Anderson has done 4 decades.
Hasn't he? Didn't he debut late 90s?
Did he?
Did he not something? I think he debuted his ODI.
Yeah,
look it up quickly while we give the winner. Yeah. I think he debuted his ODI debut, perhaps. White ball debut was somewhere late 90s.
2000,
10s and 20s. Yeah, so his would be 4. We'll check that, but meanwhile, let us tell you who the winner is. Winner, chicken dinner.
Hariharan Suresh, well, we know what he reads in his spare time. Pottermania 87 it is.
He's Harry also.
Yeah.
He's Harry.
Yeah,
He's Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
There you go. Sir, I'm checking right now on the Cricbuzz app. Till then, can you give us some anecdote or something? Just tell people something, na? Till I just...
What should we tell them?
What should we tell?
Jimmy
We should
and
tell them about his
Sir.
order.
Oh, he's actually searching right now.
Yeah. We got to check this now. When his debut was?
I think his debut was late 90s, yeah.
Late 90s?
Yeah.
Oh, my phone's run out of network.
Your phone's run out of network. Do you want me to do the...
Yes, you always do that. His phone is always on. In the meanwhile, I'll do some hygiene announcements over here, which is that we have the Hindi show and the English show tomorrow. Both will start at 1:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, so do join us then. The game is South Africa v Pakistan, and that happens in Chennai tomorrow. I was just ramping. Joy has the answer.
Oh, yeah. It's 2002 and 3. Just missed out. See, you need to make your debut. Last 4 decades, you have to do 89 or 99. Otherwise, you'll
Like
never
Sachin,
last.
89.
Yeah, like Sachin. Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Jimmy missed out. All right. Jimmy, aja, but all of us, ja. Time for us to go. Thank you so much for watching. Like to thank Joy Bhattacharya and Zaheer Khan. Thank you so much.
Jayada has enjoyed that joke.
Enjoyed or enjoyed like anything? Because that's the
Enjoyed
ultimate
like
enjoyment.
Enjoy like anything.
There you go. All right, I'm Gaurav Kapur. This was Cricbuzz Live. We finished early today, so it's the weekend. No, it's Thursday. But let your weekend start. Enjoy like anything, all right? Take care. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.